Hello, grade 11. We're going to continue with arrays from last week, if you can remember. It's a long time ago, but never mind. We have AR name type. Remember I told you about the types that you declare. You declared AR name type as an array 1 to 200 of string. This is a data type, not an array itself. But what we do is we go and use that in our global variables. We used it over here. AR names is of that type, and so is AR lines of that same type as well. But now we have AR num. AR num is going to be of AR num type. What is AR num type? It is 1 to 200 of integer. What is going to happen is we can have these three global arrays. AR lines, AR names, and AR num are going to be three parallel arrays, and we use count ARR as a counter for all three of them. So what we have to do in this activity is we're going to fill AR num with numbers from AR lines. AR lines was used, just to recap, we read all the lines of the text file called golf.txt, which was here. This text file, we read every single line into the indices of ARR lines. Each index of ARR lines had one of these lines read into it right till the end of the text file, which we did in this button click event here. You might remember, and then we displayed it. Then in this button click over here, we took out all the usernames, or in other words the email addresses, from AR lines and filled AR names with those email addresses. So AR names, we copied just the first item from AR lines indices. In other words, the email address was put in. Now they want us to take the numbers right at the end and put that into AR num, into another array. Right, so here it is there, the instruction declare global array called AR num of 200 integers. We do have that, I showed it to you just now. We're going to fill it with the last number of each item in AR lines. We're going to go through from 1 to count ARR of AR lines and copy all of those numbers. We need a for loop counter. Just before we start, let's run the program and you'll see what happens, what we've done so far. If I click on this one, here's AR lines. You can see it's the whole line that's been read into each index. And then I click on AR names, you'll see just the usernames have been put in to each index of AR names. Now for AR num, we have to only put in the numbers from AR lines, which in other words this very last number, 70 or 94, 76 or 81, is going to AR num. So it's going to be copying and deleting and copying and deleting. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to find the comma and delete, and then we're going to delete this, find a comma and delete, then we'll find the next comma and delete, then we'll find the last comma and delete. So we're going to find 3 commas and delete, and then we'll be left with the number that we want to put in AR num. Okay, so I'm going to use strings here, stemp, I'm going to delete from stemp. I don't want to delete from the actual array. Okay, equals 1 to count. Why am I using a for loop? Because I know I'm going to go through every single box of the array called ARR lines. I'm going to say stemp equals ARR lines, box number K. Now I'm going to delete from stemp. Take note, I'm not deleting from the actual array, I've got a temporary variable. So delete stemp from 1 to the position of the comma in stemp. I want to delete the comma as well, why not? Yeah, of course we want to delete the comma as well, just like I showed you in this diagram. We're going to find the comma and delete from 1 to the position of the comma. Then we're going to find the comma and delete from 1 to the position of the comma. Find the comma and delete from 1 to the position of the comma. Well, position of the comma is there. And then I'm going to delete, I'm just going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. There were 3 commas, not so? And then we say arrow num box number k equals, now remember, stemp is a string, arrow num is an array of integers, so we have to say string to int stemp. And while we're about it, why don't we just display as well? Red arrays dot lines dot add. We want to display the array called arrow num, so I'm just going to say int to string arrow num box number k. Cool, so let's go and run the program and see if it works. There are errors. Okay. Left out a bracket. Okay, I have to click on these other buttons first. Okay, let's click on that one. There we go. There's all our numbers. Not in any particular order, but we know that arrow num is a global array that now has all those numbers in them. And they're parallel to arrow names and arrow lines. So we're going to use that. Before we use that, we're going to display arrow num in reverse order of integers. This comes to sorting. Okay, we're going to do a sort algorithm now, very first sorting algorithm. So let's go and display arrow num in reverse order. So arrow num's got all those integers, not so, and we've got to display them in reverse order, from the highest to the lowest. How do we do that? Well, yeah, we're going to learn our first sorting algorithm. For doing that, you need 2 integers and you need a temporary variable. A temporary variable that matches the data type of your array that you want to sort. If they say display in reverse order, well, you have to sort the array first and then you can display it. You can't sort it before, you have to sort it before you display it. And how do we sort? This is our sorting algorithm, which you must memorize. We first say for k equals 1 to r count r minus 1. So our first for loop is going to go from 1 to the number of boxes that are filled minus 1. And then we have our second nested for loop for L equals k plus 1 to r count r do begin and end. So this is, you can memorize this for now. We'll explain it to you later. Then we're going to say if arrow num square brackets k, we want it in reverse order, so it must be from reverse order, which is from highest to lowest. Okay. If arrow num k, if it's less than arrow num L, so remember k is going to be box number 1. L will be box the next one after k, k plus 1. It's very important that this k plus 1 is there. So if the first one is lower, actually let's turn this around, if it's greater than box number L, we want to swap them around. We want the lowest, no, we actually want the greatest one first, don't we? So less than. So the greatest number has to be in front. So if k plus 1 is greater than box number k, well, then we want to swap it around. So this is where we do our swap algorithm. Begin and end, swap. We say our temp is equal to one of them box number k, arrow num box number Our temp will be K, so we're going to put K is going to now be AR num, the other box number L, and then AR num box number L will be equal to our temp. Now you can see I've left some space here because we have a situation. But first let's show this. What's the swap algorithm? Basically you have two things and you want to swap them around. So you get a temporary variable equal to one of them, then that one that you've made equal to the temporary variable, you give it the value of the other one, and then the other one is now going to be given the temp variable, which was originally the first one. So our temp will be the first one. We make the first one equal to the second one is equal to the original first one. That's how you do swapping. You get a temporary variable, but because these arrays are, there are three parallel arrays here, aren't there? There are three parallel arrays. How do we know that? Well, we have arrow lines and arrow names. Remember I showed you right at the top here the three global variables here? Okay, there are arrow num, arrow names, and arrow lines all use the same counter called rCount_arr. So we have to go and do the same swap algorithm for the other two arrays as well, arrow names and arrow lines, to keep them in order, in the same order. We can't just sort one array, not the other. So we got to get a variable. This time we need a temp variable for a string. So I'm going to make stemp as a string. So we're going to swap stemp. We're going to say stemp equals AR names box number K, and AR names box number K will be equal to AR names box number L, and AR names box number L will be equal to stemp. You see I'm applying the same swap algorithm to AR names, and now I'm going to do the same for AR lines. As you see, we have to do the swap algorithm for all the other arrays that are parallel to the one arrow lines. And because it's the arrow lines is a string, I can use the same temporary variable there too. Okay. So that's that done. Now I want to display, they say display AR num. That's it. That's your swap algorithm done. The sorting algorithm, should I say. Sorry, the sorting algorithm. That's all. That's it. You're sorting from the highest to the lowest. That's why I've got that less than sign there. The one from lowest to highest, and you put a greater than sign if you're going to use K first. Just got to be careful of that sign, which one you're going to use. So now we're going to go and display. One to rCount_array, arrays.lines.add into string ARR lines square brackets K. I am only displaying, not arrow lines, sorry, AR num, those numbers in reverse order. I'm only displaying arrow num. I did sort arrow names and arrow lines, but we're only displaying one array. It doesn't matter, but if you are going to sort one array that's in parallel with others, you have to sort the others as well. So let's run the program and see. Okay, now because this program, it's all in memory, so we have to go and click these other buttons to make sure we're working with the same thing. So there's AR num. Not in number order, and we click display arrow num in reverse order, so now we have it in reverse order. As you can see, it's all nicely. Right, see you tomorrow and do the activity.